Derby County manager John Eustace has made a transfer admission over the course of the last couple of weeks, with Derby County making links to a range of different players, all of which I have made videos on this channel. Now obviously for Derby County there's a lot of work to be done this summer, with up to 11 players leaving, some of them obviously loan players, other players obviously being released from their contracts. There's also yet to be confirmation of the future of Craig Forsyth or Liam Thompson, but Derby County are hoping to get those deals done over the course of the next few weeks. But John Eustace is hoping to evolve this Derby County squad and make us a lot more competitive heading into next season. Now obviously Derby County over the course of the last couple of months under John Eustace were pushing playoff form with a squad which in my opinion was not a playoff competing team. But what does he have to do now in order for Derby County to move forward? Do you want to win yourself the brand new Derby County 2025-26 home shirt? Well, I'm here to give you an opportunity to do that. There will be a link down in the description where you can head on over to raffle.com to join a raffle where you can win the Derby County home shirt. Ticket prices start at just £1 with a range of different discounts available. You can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets, get 10 free, and 15 tickets to get 15 free. The intention with this is to give you guys the opportunity to win a Derby County shirt for less than the valued cost in the shop. So if you haven't done so already, head on down to the description, click on the link in the description which will take you over to raffle.com, create yourself an account, answer the question and join this raffle. The winner will be announced on August 1st at 6 PM as the transfer window begins to draw to a close. So if you haven't done so already, head on over there and get your tickets. Now obviously for John Eustace there's a lot of work for him to do, and he admits that himself and has spoken about this throughout the last couple of games and what Derby County were aiming to do as well. And obviously for John Eustace, the aim for him this summer is to make this team more of his own, for it to find those sort of gilt-edged players that he wants, the right number 9, the right fullback, the right central midfielders, and that obviously isn't an overnight job. Now obviously for Derby County there's been a lot of links over the course of the last few weeks, the likes of Danny Bath, the likes of Ricardo Santos. You even look at players like Oscar Frulo, you look at a player like Camille Conte, but ultimately Derby County aren't having any links to those sort of forward players, those sort of number 9s that you would anticipate Derby County to be making moves for. Now obviously we had word from Stephen Pearce just over a week ago now where he was discussing the plans for Derby County's transfer window and what he anticipates to happen for Derby County. Now we do know that Derby County are looking at squad players early doors in the transfer window, and that is why I believe the moves for the likes of Danny Bath and Andy Weimann are the right moves. Now Andy Weimann in my opinion would be a starter for Derby County today. Danny Bath would obviously have to be a starter as well considering the injuries to Curtis Nelson and Sondre Langas. But what else is John Eustace looking at? Now we know that there is ongoing discussions with Liam Thompson and Craig Forsyth about extending their current deals with Derby County for at minimum the next season, but we don't have any confirmation of those deals as of yet, and that could obviously reopen some contract discussions and some transfer discussions with John Eustace and the recruitment team if those players aren't to carry on and continue as Derby County players. Now the aim for John Eustace is to make this team more adaptable and more reliable as we head into obviously a brand new championship season, where the aim really for Derby County in my opinion is mid-table mediocrity. Now I've spoke about this on TikTok a bit, I'm not sure if I've spoke about it in any videos, but for me I think Derby County should be aiming anywhere between 10th and 15th, and for me that would be improvement. What I want is I don't want it to go to the final day when in regards to relegation or whatever, whether it's promotion that's a completely different conversation, but for relegation I don't want it to go down to the final day if that's the situation with Derby County again, and that's obviously where John Eustace has got to bring in different players. Now over the course of the last week we've heard some news on Nat Phillips, we've heard some news on Marcus Harness. Now both of those players were key figures under John Eustace heading towards the back end of the season, and Nat Phillips stepped in excellently at centre half when we went into the back three. Marcus Harness was excellent when he played as that second striker. We know he was a little bit not necessarily good enough in those sort of central positions when we played him there a little bit deeper alongside the likes of Ebel Adams and Harrison Armstrong, or whether he played in a front three with Mendes Langen himself as the 2 10s behind Jerry Yates. But we know that Marcus Harness has real quality, and for 4 or 5 games maybe a couple more games than that under John Eustace. He was the second coming of R9, scored a good few goals, got a few assists as well, which were obviously really important in helping Derby County stay in the division. And I'm not necessarily saying that Marcus Harness or Nat Phillips are the bang-on players that Derby County need, but I certainly believe they are the right players that will help Derby County move forward long term. Now, obviously, with John Eustace looking for that adaptability and that reliability, does that mean that he's going to be moving away from players such as Ryan Niambi, such as Joe Ward, who have sort of been on the injury list a lot since they've joined Derby County? You also look at a player like Callum Elder, who spent a lot of time on the injury list as well. And that's a big question heading into this summer transfer window about how Derby County are going to replace these types of players and what sort of John Eustace's plan is to get that done. Now, I'm not saying that John Eustace is going to get every single transfer spot on. I'm not going to say that every single transfer Derby County make is going to be perfect, because obviously not every transfer works. We saw that last summer. Ben Osborne, Caden Jackson, ultimately 50-50 on whether they worked. Tawanda Chiwa didn't work. David Ozo, although was brilliant, made a glass, didn't really work. So you've got those sort of conversations that are going to be consistent and ongoing for Derby County as we head into this window. And if we look at some of the players that Derby County were targeting sort of last January, you look at the likes of Carlon Grant, you look at the likes of John Swift, two players who would add real quality to this Derby County side. Now, whether John Eustace follows through and addresses those links again this summer, I'm not entirely sure, but I don't necessarily think it would be a bad move by the Derby County manager. I think John Swift is a very, very good Championship midfielder. I think Carlon Grant will score goals at this level, and that's what Derby County need. Now, realistically, as much as Derby County manager Eustace is looking for adaptability, reliability, and the aim of a winning formula, I think that what is really important for Derby is to make sure that any of those conversations and discussions that are currently ongoing regarding additions to the squad are done in the right way and are making the right sort of improvements, because we know that sort of John Eustace, he has a style of play, and he came into Derby at QPR, tried to play his way, it didn't work. He tried it again against, I think it was Middlesbrough the game after, or Millwall, and it just didn't quite work. And then we went to Middlesbrough. I think Middlesbrough was the last game before he went to the back three, and it wasn't 100%, but we played a lot better. And then we went into that game, I think it was Blackburn Rovers, where we picked up our first victory in nearly 3 months. And John Eustace went to that back three and it really worked. So for me, I'm not bothered about which way John Eustace goes, so long as sort of he gets the players he needs and he's backed the right way by the current owner in David Clowes or whatever investment is available. Now, we do know, as per Stephen Pearce, that John Eustace does have, at the moment, as we know today, around £6 million left from the sale of Erin Cashin, which can be used in order to bring players in this summer, which hopefully John Eustace does then go ahead and use, because I think that's absolutely the right decision. Go and spend that money, bring in the right players, bring in a good striker, bring in a good sort of creative option, bring in a good box-to-box midfielder, fill out those wide positions, which in my opinion is something Derby County are absolutely desperate to do this summer, is get players in those wide positions, because we were sort of really forced into that 3-5-2 with the lack of form of Mendes Lang, the lack of form of Caden Jackson. Now, you can obviously let me know your thoughts down in the comments, but there's a few options out there who I would take a look at if I was Derby County manager. Obviously, you've got the direct link between Eustace and Tyrese Dolan. You've got the Andy Vyman ex-Derby County link, which is currently ongoing. And you've obviously got the former Derby County Academy graduate in Emil Rees-Jacobson, who has recently left Preston North End on a free transfer. All three of those players, for me, would improve this Derby County forward line. Now, whether there's other options available that could potentially be cheaper, I don't know right now. But in my opinion, that is the move that Derby County should make. And obviously with John Eustace looking for more adaptability and more reliability, a player in Andy Vyman who can play a range of different positions provides that adaptability. A player like Tyrese Dolan, who he already knows what positions he can play. Again, it's that reliability and adaptability. Emil Rees-Jacobson has put up really good numbers in the Championship so far in his career. Is he a player who could return to Derby County? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell to stay tuned for all of my latest Derby County content heading your way this summer. There is potential for live streams to be coming soon I've had my internet's all sorted and everything like that, so we're sort of in a much better position, and I'm sort of planning on getting that done as we move forward. But make sure you check out, obviously, the link in the description for the raffle, and make sure you check out any potential other videos which could have come out over the course of the last few days regarding transfer links, regarding takeover news and things like that. So if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on the notification bell. Let's run the V-roll for the raffle. Do you want to win yourself the brand new Derby County 2025-26 home shirt? Well, I'm here to give you an opportunity to do that. There will be a link down in the description where you can head on over to raffle.com to join a raffle where you can win the Derby County home shirt. Ticket prices start at just £1 with a range of different discounts available. You can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets, get 10 free, and 15 tickets to get 15 free. The intention with this is to give you guys the opportunity to win a Derby County shirt for less than the valued cost in the shop. So if you haven't done so already, head on down to the description, click on the link in the description, which will take you over to raffle.com, create yourself an account, answer the question, and join this raffle. The winner will be announced on August 1st at 6 p.m. as the transfer window begins to draw to a close. So if you haven't done so already, head on over there and get your tickets.